moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family. Whenever you hear that theme song, you know, it's time for me to say good night to the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web, and we reach and we communicate with you all around the globe. But it's imperative that I say good night to the homelands. It gets Nevis and to the entire Caribbean region. And to my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and the Fijian diaspora, I say one more time, greetings for all those who are logged on, wherever you are in the world. I know some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Europe. And there are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning. And I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And for the first-timers, we do have first-timers every time around, and I'm grateful for that, and for those who share the link, because whenever you do, we get first-timers. So for the first-timers, may I inform you that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. So we trust and hope it would not be your last time. And for the first timers in particular, we can inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline, free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On this program, we have a forum, like I said, to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try as well to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness by alerting all of our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And for you, again, first timers, may I inform you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program, neither by omission or by exaggeration. Street Talk is not about sensationalism. We are not about creating excitement, especially if that will have to come at the expense of accuracy. Because if it's one thing, we promote what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth. So it is my bounden duty to present the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, accountability, and all that goes with those requirements. And wherever we are on the globe, because we are joined with people all across our federation, and we are joined with people all across the world. So some we know, some we have met, some we have never met, some we may never ever meet physically. That is, I know we meet spiritually. But whatever it is, my Street Talk family, we entertain what I call a diversity of views, and because we are different people. So let's not become disagreeable, else I would be disappointed. But in the meantime, let's thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation. Let's thank Him nonetheless for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is if brethren can come out dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing His praise together. So welcome again, my Straight Talk family, and thank you for those who share the link. May I remind you and inform our first timers that Straight Talk is a participative program. And by that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails. And if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. If you're like what I call the cloak of anonymity, you don't want to be heard for obvious reasons, especially in this neck of the woods. People get vindictive. We provide you with our email platform, and that address is on your screens as well. So my Straight Talk family, welcome again. And a special welcome to my Straight Talk Junior Brigade that I can never skip past by, else I'll be in trouble. If I don't hail young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, my grandson Neymar, that's a must, Soraya, Elizabeth, and that special lady in St. Louis. Greetings to all. We now start with our observations in review, and I have quite a few, so I won't hesitate. But before that, I must informed that Straight Talk has learned of the sad passing of a stalwart. I can consider her a member or former member now of the Straight Talk family, Mrs. Sylvine Henry. She has not been participating in recent time because she, you understand, was struggling with her sight, and we don't be on the radio like before. But Sylvine spiritually has always been with us. So she has left a deep sense of sorrow among all of us who knew and admired her. As a teacher, she inspired generations of young people beyond the classroom. Then she moved into statistics and became the government's chief statistician, I can recall. And upon retirement from the civil service, Sylvine became a passionate political activist who fearlessly championed the causes in which she believed and worked tirelessly in service to her community and to her country, and of course her church. She never forgot the Maranatha Church, I think, is she always talked about. But her commitment, her conviction, and unwavering spirit earned her the respect of friends and opponents alike. So on this sad occasion, we extend our heartfelt condolences to her entire family, loved ones, and all those whose lives she touched. Straight Talk will remember Sylvine for her frank, constructive opinions expressed over many years on this very platform. And as a tribute to her, he said this.
As a Prime Minister was responding to the concerns expressed by the Chamber, he made a statement that I agree with. He said he don't understand. Well, the truth is, I believe he doesn't understand. Because if he understood, his reaction would have been different.
Exactly.
To me, if he understood the struggle of our people as we continue to try to exert ourselves and to position ourselves economically, he would react differently. But you see, the failure to me is in terms of the selection of leadership in political parties and the lack of training. People are chosen sometimes because of their personality or a set of people like them. And so he was chosen. Now Mr. Bracha and the rest came up. They had to struggle even to exist as a party. When Dr. Douglas came in, he met the country moving forward, and nobody took the time to explain to him that the struggle for black people to become economically dominant or prominent in this country was important. So he took things for granted and gladly played along the game. But in the back of his mind is individualism.
Loot.
You understand? Yes, loot. He saw it as an opportunity to enrich himself.
Exactly.
Now, India is part of the continent, not a little corner like St. Kitts. And India is fighting globalization. I can tell you, I saw it on BBC, where in India, they allow like the Woolworths and so they can only come in as wholesalers. They refuse to allow the American businesses to come in as retailers because they know that once they come in, they will shut down the small businesses. So for our Prime Minister to say, no, he don't see the problem and he really don't see it. And I think it's timing up that those in the Labour Party begin to educate themselves. That the next thing you know, the nut seller won't be able to sell nuts. The sugar cake person won't be able to sell anything. You understand?
Okay.
When it hit home to them that the only thing we are going to become in this country if the citizens turn up here to claim their right, would be employees. So somebody please take time to educate, help the Prime Minister to understand that the citizens of this country, whether they're white, black, or whatever, those of us who were here in the struggle, who came upon the cane fields, who trying to get a foot up on the ladder.
Okay,
Because that's what we're trying to do, you know. We're trying to get a foot up on the ladder. And the Dr. Douglas is kicking down the ladder.
Yes, my straight talk family. That was who Sylvine was. Never afraid to speak her mind, but was constructive, objective, and assertive. May we find comfort, therefore, in the knowledge that her legacy of service, education, and activism will endure for years to come. May the soul of our departed mother rest in eternal peace. And our first observation, we want to make reference to the resignation of Shani Gray Brooks, which has reportedly created significant political uncertainty within constituency number 1 and seemed to have left the People's Action Movement grappling with questions about its future direction in the constituency. Remember, Shani served as the first female or woman leader of any political party in St. Kitts. She was short-lived. And for many supporters, Shani Gray's departure represents more than the loss of a candidate. It has exposed underlying divisions over leadership, strategy, and the party's ability to reconnect to its traditional base. The fallout has sparked concerns about party unity, grassroots mobilization, and voter confidence ahead of imminent elections. Constituency 1, which I was born, raised, and I still live, has historically been a critical battleground, and any prolonged internal turmoil could weaken PAM's electoral prospects while creating opportunities for its political opponents. So whether the party can recover from this setback will depend largely on its ability to rebuild trust, unify its supporters, and present a clear vision for the future of constituency number 1. But that does not seem likely anytime now, given the resignation of the constituency 1 chairman, Vanessa Phipps, as you can glean from her letter of resignation on your screens, dated July 29. And we can read this together, starting at paragraph 1, addressed to the constituency executive. Please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as chairperson of the People's Action Movement, PAM Constituency Executive, St. Christopher 1, effective immediately. After careful thought and reflection, I have decided that I will also not be offering myself as a candidate, or contesting the next election. This has not been an easy decision. However, the continued internal conflict and division within the organization have led me to conclude that it is time for me to step away. I firmly believe that it is better to live with my dignity, self-respect, and pride intact than to become involved in ongoing disputes that do not reflect the values I wish to uphold. Serving in this role has been both an honor and a learning experience. I remain grateful to those who supported me and worked alongside me with sincerity and dedication. I sincerely hope that the party can overcome its internal challenges, restore unity, and continue serving the people effectively. I wish the People's Action Movement and its members all the best in their future endeavors. And that's signed by Vanessa Phipps, the chairperson of the People's Action Movement, PAM, Constituency Executive of Constituency Number 1. Very interesting development. And we move to our second observation, and we reference the latest report that indicate the search and recovery operations continue following the sinking of the MV Barima in Guyana. Authorities have confirmed that the vessel has been located and that local teams supported by regional and international partners are working to recover victims and determine the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. Investigators are also examining allegations relating to the vessel's passenger manifest, cargo load, and operational procedures. Recent updates indicate that more than 100 fatalities have been recorded, while dozens of survivors have been accounted for. In a strange move, nonetheless, the captain and members of the crew were slapped or charged by the police with murder charges. Yes, you heard me right. Murder charges. As investigations continue to probe the cause of the disaster. This, to some, is just a distraction.
Police have done what the Commission of Inquiry is supposed to do, and they have already come to a definitive conclusion on this matter. And so we have asked for an early disclosure. This matter was heard before the Chief Magistrate. It was transferred to the Charity Court, where it will be before the Substantive Magistrate, because that's the jurisdictional court. And that we have asked for early disclosure in the matter, which I believe is on the 3rd of August. Because we intend, as I said today in court, we intend to make preliminary legal arguments in relation to this matter. This is a complete unfair and an injustice, because the complexity of this matter you could not complete an investigation in terms of the complexity of this matter with such a short time. There are a number of experts that you need to pull together in order to assist in the investigation of this matter. And that is why there's a COI. The primary persons who will have to talk at the COI is the captain of the vessel. The captain of the vessel will have to appear before a COI. Now this man is in prison. And then you're going to have a second issue. There's something we call sub judice, meaning that if a matter is before one court, then not even a commission can look into the affairs of that matter. So there are going to be barriers to the extent that the commission can dive into things. There is a clear pronouncement yesterday that, and the fears of the Guyanese people, that we may not even see the boat back on water. So my thing is, how do they hope to establish the weight of that boat?
And my Shwetalk family, the tragedy has prompted renewed calls across the Caribbean for stricter maritime safety regulations, improve passenger counting systems, and enhance emergency response protocol. And just going back to that letter of purported letter of resignation, it has come to my attention that a note just received with a post by Vanessa Phipps, my dear friend, who wrote, and I read, "It has come to my attention that the letter is circulating on social media with my name attached to a resignation letter. Please be advised that this letter was not penned by me, and I have no knowledge of same. Whomever is trying to create discord within Constituency 1 East Bastille, kindly cease and desist." And this Facebook post signed D. Vanessa Richard Phipps. And we'll have to take this one because that letter, in fact, was not signed. Our third observation, we move to a very interesting development in the extradition hearing for the leader of the opposition in Guyana and his father. And we should have heard the information from the CCJ in Guyana today. I don't know if I missed it, but this is the latest that we have on this extradition hearing by Straight Talk family.
The United States says it remains firmly committed to securing the extradition of opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed and his father Nazar Mohammed, despite months of delays in the local court proceedings. In an interview with the newsroom on Wednesday, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Terrio said Washington is 100% committed to seeing the matter through and hopes the decision will be reached relatively soon.
I want to make it incredibly clear that the U.S. is 100% committed to seeing this through. It is incredibly important to us that these proceedings continue and that a decision is ultimately made. Obviously, we hope it will be a certain decision.
Ambassador Terrio acknowledged adjournments due to the elder Mohammed's illness and the defense multiple high court applications, but stressed that the U.S. remains serious about the case.
There have been a lot of delays, including today. That's understandable. That happens in cases, but let me just tell you, the U.S. government does not spend tens of thousands of U.S. taxpayer dollars to request extradition if we're not serious. We want to see this happen, and we want to see justice served, both for the Guyanese and the U.S. people. So we are very hopeful that the proceedings will continue apace, and we'll get a decision relatively soon.
The extradition request stems from an 11-count indictment filed in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida, alleging wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, and customs-related offenses linked to an alleged U.S. $50 million gold export and tax evasion scheme. The men were arrested locally last October and granted $150,000 bail after appearing before the Churchill Magistrates Court. Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal signed the authority to proceed, allowing the extradition hearing to move forward. While expressing confidence in the outcome, Ambassador Terrio expressed that the United States respects the Guyana judicial process and will await the court's decision.
So Straight Talk will be following that story in Guyana with the extradition hearing in relation to the leader of opposition and his father. And our final observation, we go across to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Another very interesting case. An election petition hearing is expected to attract considerable public attention, as the outcome could have important political and legal implications. Election petitions are a fundamental part of the democratic process, providing an avenue for parties and candidates to challenge the conduct of results of an election through the courts. Before the political rhetoric, the proceedings will test the strength and independence of the country's electoral and judicial institutions. Supporters on all sides will be anxiously awaiting the court's deliberations. But it is essential that the legal process be allowed to unfold without undue pressure or interference. Whatever the outcome, the ruling is likely to shape public confidence in the electoral system and could influence the political landscape for years to come in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, today the petitioners started presenting their evidence, and they were subjected to cross-examination by the attorneys for Mr. Bramble and Prime Minister Friday, both of whom were present in court, and the law is taking its course. This is a very interesting election petition, giving the overwhelming mandate given by the people to Prime Minister Friday and his government. And you know, we see the wheels of justice and democracy interacting, and we are very confident about this matter. We feel that justice will prevail in the end, and the Honourable Prime Minister will be vindicated in the position he has taken. He has never made it a secret that he holds dual citizenship, and I think that the population voted for him knowing full well his democratic credentials and his commitment and dedication as a servant of the people. And we intend to ensure that it remains that way. Today we completed probably about 5 witnesses. Tomorrow we'll have the expert witnesses, and we have a couple others. So, you know, it's a day-by-day trial. It's a very exhausting and intense process, but ultimately, you know, we feel this is a very momentous day to see that the Prime Minister would clear his schedule, come to court, you know, be there respectful towards the court and the citizens who are entitled to make a quick resolution of this matter in the interest of democracy.
Well, in the interest of democracy, his defense lawyer said, and rightly so, he got an overwhelming mandate from the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But it's what the Constitution says. And ultimately, just like in St. Kitts and Nevis, the former Prime Minister Denzel Douglas as well, he was kicked out of Parliament. We don't know the difference in the Constitution in terms of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But Prime Minister Friday holds Canadian citizenship and citizenship from the land of his birth in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But ultimately, respect for the rule of law and the authority of the courts must remain paramount in safeguarding democracy all over, inclusive of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And those are my observations for tonight, and I move right into my thesis, which I have titled 2 Islands, 1 Federation, 0 Results. And my fellow citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, and my Straight Dog family, the question I ask tonight is, how long must we suffer the catastrophic incompetence of our leadership? I repeat that question. How long must we suffer the catastrophic incompetence of our leadership? We are being governed by a political class of professional groundbreakers who excel at cutting ribbons and making lots of promises of projects on the way. But they fail completely at delivering results. They sell us what I call optical illusions, while our public funds vanish into a black hole of mismanagement. And I say it is time we hold the guilty parties accountable by name across the islands. And when we reflect on the birth of our broken system, to understand why our system fails today, we must look at how it began, from whence we came. Our very foundation, I submit, was built on flawed ground. When our Constitution, for example, was written in 1983, it was not crafted out of a pure vision for shared prosperity. It was forged in the fires of political expediency. PAM, under Kennedy Simmons, surrendered to NRP's Sim Daniel, who demanded that Nevis had its own administration, got a proportional share of the revenue collected by the federal government, and a right to secede. They got all of that. The architects of our independence hurried a complex framework into law to satisfy short-term political gains, leaving us with a deeply fractured relationship between Basseterre and Charlestown. They design a system of intentional friction, a constitutional loophole that allows national and local leaders of federal and the local leaders in Nevis to hide behind jurisdictional walls whenever they fail. We live in a house divided by design, and our current leaders are used to those historic design flaws to avoid doing their jobs. They rather use those design flaws to avoid doing their jobs. Let's just look at what I call the St. Kitts monument to federal failure. Look at the wreckage of flagship federal promises on St. Kitts. It is a shameful monument to state failure, brought to us by a cabinet fast asleep at the wheel. Look at the Minister of Agriculture, for example, Samuel Duggins. He has so badly mismanaged his ministry, and very early in his term, everyone believed him. For example, when he stood up in Parliament and promised the country money on trees. Remember this, my Stray Dog family?
Marijuana industry, as we have heard, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we have been dragging at a snail's pace in getting involved. And I could not understand for the life of me why. Literally growing money on trees. But yet somehow, we don't want to participate. But I dare say, that era is over, and it's now a new day, and a better way. So in 2023, expect a vibrant, thriving marijuana industry.
A laughing matter. Then came the Tabasco pepper fast. Samuel Duggins and Terrence Michael Drew stood before us and promised a revolutionary agricultural gold mine at Foy's estate. Instead, the entire Tabasco initiative has withered in the fields. Another half-baked scheme that produced nothing, absolutely nothing but empty political press releases while our local farmers continue to struggle.
this concept of having Tabasco here started with a conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and our special envoy, Her Excellency Hadia Claxton, who herself would have introduced us to Tabasco. I invited Tabasco as the Prime Minister to St. Kitts and Nevis, where I met with the leadership of Tabasco International, and they would have met with the Honorable Minister of Agriculture as well. And the determination was made then that St. Kitts and Nevis has the potential to be a producer or grower of this pepper, the Tabasco pepper, where we can actually grow it and export it back to Louisiana so that it can be processed into the end product, which is the pepper sauce.
Where's the pepper sauce? Where's the end product? Where are the Tabasco plants? The smart housing scam we can make reference to. The Minister of Housing, the slow student Jeffrey Handy, looked into the eyes of hard-working families and promised 2,400 climate smart homes, my straight dog family. He promised that. He made that promise. And we asked ourselves, what has become of those smart homes, Jeffrey Hanley? Where are the homes, we ask?
For the past 2 years, extensive work would have been going on involving our local architects and other engineers and experts, and it is even more heartwarming to know that the contractor is a Kittitian, and this of course will generate quite a lot of revenue and also boost the economy, as many persons will be employed here at the Bastia High School, which is expected to be an 18-month initiative.
And over a year has gone, my straight dog family. In fact, 13 months have gone. But what did we get under Jeffrey's watch? We understand a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, an imploded East Coast housing project, and next to zero roofs over the heads of our people. What has become of this claim, we ask, my straight dog family? The CIBC claim against East Coast Housing Development, as this is kept a top secret, even in light of existing Freedom of Information legislation. East Coast Housing Development Managing Director Brian Singh also levied serious allegations against the slow student Jeffrey Hanley and the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, citing misfeasance or malfeasance. But we have heard nothing else. We have heard nothing else, my straight dog family. And we ask a question. We ask a simple question because it has become habit. That too must be buried in the court. Was there any non-disclosed agreements? Why is nobody talking? Where are the houses? Where is East Coast Housing Development Managing Director Brian Singh? Has he gone into hiding? These are things we need to know. And we need to settle those scores before we think about putting back this cabinet of incompetent experts back into office. The Bastia High School, it's a nightmare. For years, our children, my straight dog family, have been used as political footballs. Yes, the politicians continue to stage photo ops, as I showed you earlier, hold media briefings and promise a state-of-the-art facility. Jeffrey, in his announcement, did not name a contractor. Yet, a fully completed, functioning school remains non-existent. They are actively robbing our youth of their future. Not only are they robbing the youth of their future, they are robbing the treasury of much needed revenue. And I've told you why, my Straight Talk family. Imagine they are building a prefabricated school and precast forms are manufactured overseas. Do you imagine that, my Straight Talk family?
So the question now is, has construction of the Bastia High School truly started? Yes, construction has started. As expressed by the minister last year, June, construction had commenced with the excavation of the site. This ran concurrently with the rendering and molds, design plans, etc. being prepared and tested at the factory in Barbados. As of now, the Bastia High School is fully designed and precasting and molding works at the factory has already begun.
Barbados. Imagine that, my Straight Talk family. Precast forms and manufacturers have begun. I went to Barbados. I visited Picanco. I haven't gone back. But where are these containers with these forms? But I am happy that someone, my Straight Talk family, was courageous enough to speak about this lack of foresight, as I mentioned earlier.
Our government made a big mistake when it takes a $200 million project plus Bastia High School, and a good portion of that money is going to be spent in another island when we could have been generating jobs, economic activity, skills for our young people here. Right? It's gone elsewhere.
Elsewhere, my Straight Talk family. Elsewhere to Barbados. And even money has gone with it as well.
Bastia High School is a CBI project. That is why I said the CBI projects will be used to give us what is essential. And under the CBI relationship, that is how it is set up. When we took over, we said we're going to use our CBI to build the school. The CBI has its own arrangement built in. And he knows that. And that is what is building up the Bastia High School at this particular time. And within the CBI, they have their own mechanism of choosing who will build and support, especially as it's a statutory body now. It even give it more independence. And so this thing about it trying to cloud it in procurement as if something untoward was done is not so. And so the program with the school has a built-in mechanism that if the CBI inflows drop at any point, there will be a support coming from the government to keep it going. But that the government has to reclaim all its money. There's nothing to hide.
$27 million pumped in to Picanco, or this farm in Barbados. And it's supposed to be a public benefit option where the investor must bring their money and are allocated shares to allow them to recover the money they spend. But gone elsewhere to Barbados is the Bastia High School. No wonder many referred to the BHS as the new Barbados High School. Look at what the so-called engineer, Congress Maynard, is doing. Look at what he did. This incompetent minister abandoned a solar farm that was shovel-ready, as the term many use. And after willful delays, and even after their own experts that they brought in said it was a good project, project. The experts said this, according to their own advisor.
It is a good project based on our own studies, calling in the expertise from right in the Caribbean to assess. It's a good project. Mm-hmm. They feel that it was properly assessed and the costing was within the range of what it would cost anyway to do that.
A good project, my Straight Talk family, but abandoned. the so-called engineer, Congress Maynard, abandoned a good project. And now, he's renting generators. Has been renting generators for over 2 years. My Straight Talk family, 6 generators.
The government has guaranteed full financial absorption of all costs associated with this 12-month Skelec Agreco 6 megawatt rental agreement to the tune of approximately $10.5 million.
And that was 2 years ago, my Straight Talk family. 2 years ago. The rental cost of these Agreco generators is $10.5 million per year. So 2 years have gone thus far. And the incompetent so-called engineer has spent over $21 million of 57 million EC dollars on generator rental. A new generator costs $40 million. My Straight Talk family. He said he borrowed $40 million to buy 2 generators. Where are they? The solar farm was costing $81 million. He could have already paid for the solar farm. But this is why the Terence Michael Jew administration is broke. Dead broke. They're in deficit. Year after year deficit. Across the Narrows, there is complicity and gridlock in Nevis. But let us not allow the leadership in Nevis to escape the blame. For too long, the leadership in Charlestown has engaged in a coordinated dance of finger pointing and bureaucratic theater with Bassett, exploiting the exact constitutional divisions that were designed over 4 decades ago. Look at the Destiny Project bottleneck. The Destiny Special Sustainable Zone on the south coast of Nevis represents, they say, a lifeline of sustainable jobs and economic diversification. Yet what do we see? Months of political posturing, closed-door meetings and endless rounds of letter writing between Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew and Premier Mark Brantley. 2 leaders, 1 blame. While Prime Minister Drew uses federal red tape to stall and assert power, Premier Mark Brantley uses that very same red tape as an excuse for hurling insularity at the people of St. Kitts, my Straight Talk family. And we must not accept it. We should not accept it, my Straight Talk family. We should not accept the insularity that Mark Brantley is hurling at the people in this country.
Right. Christopher Harbour came, Juni, 2,400 acres on the Southeast Peninsula. I never heard no big protest, no marching, no anything about Christopher Harbour. No state within a state, no colonialism, none of that. It's a big development. And I asked the question because the question being asked in Nevis, and perhaps your panelists can engage, is the opposition, particularly here in Bastia, by some people, to that project is because it's a Nevis project. I don't mean to offend when I say that, but I'm asking that question because we have had mega projects happening on the island of St. Kitts, and I've not had this. I've not heard this. I didn't hear this for Kittishan Hill. I didn't hear this for La Vallée. I didn't hear this for Christopher Harbour. I didn't hear this for the Ramada. But a project in Nevis that will help to diversify the Nevisian economy and create jobs and create activity, I have pundits in St. Kitts saying that project is bad and we shouldn't have that project. My question is, why the duality? Why the difference in treatment? That's the matter I think that all of us will have to consider and to think about.
My Straight Talk family, they hold dueling press conferences. He speaks about duality. Trading blame while the project sits in legislative limbo. Bluntly blames the federal system. Jew blames the developers, and the Nevian people are left holding an empty bag. Both leaders are treating our economic survival as a pawn in their personal political games. All these are nothing but distractions. I will not stop making the point that it is the Brantley's household that will benefit the most. Yes, Sharon Mark Brantley, when it is all said and done, she alone will collect over $100 million from the land sales, my Shutok family. We cannot dispute that. We cannot dispute that, my Shutok family. We cannot dispute that. Mark Anthony Graham Brantley cannot dispute that.
So, Premier, you said I don't know if it was a press conference or somewhere, you said that your wife was the person who was looking lands and either buying or selling to Destiny. Can you tell us if she's in that same position as of today? Can you tell us if there has been any has you picked up any sales on any lands over in the south recently? And has anybody pulled back each other? Can you tell us that? Thanks.
Yeah, the only aspect of that, caller, that I could answer is to say that my wife was hired by Destiny some time ago to contact owners of lands in the area to determine whether or not they'll be minded to sell their lands. Some have agreed to sell. Some have said they will not sell. Some have negotiated. And I believe that that process is still ongoing. But I can confirm that my wife is working on that project as a realtor. She was approached by them and she is assisting them in reaching out to potential sellers, to owners of lands, and trying to determine whether or not they're minded to sell. I think that was the position from day one, and that continues to be the position.
I've been listening to Mark Brantley, my Straight Dog family, with a measure of pride. You hear him, my wife, his wife, Sharon Mama Brantley. He told us on some other occasion, she is the go-between. So all I am saying, that could only happen here in St. Kitts and Nevis, because there's a conflict of interest at the heart of Destiny. Just pull back the curtain and look at the real rot. Pull it back. You see the real rot. While Mark Anthony Graham Brantley publicly acts as the loudest cheerleader for the Destiny Project, we discover a massive, undeniable conflict of interests. Sharon Mama Brantley, the wife of Premier Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, is serving as a sole real estate agent in charge of procuring land for the billionaire-backed developers, the go-between, like I said. And Mark Brantley tells us he's fighting for public jobs, but his own household stands to collect millions in private real estate commissions. How can the people of Nevis trust Mark Brantley to negotiate an unbiased development agreement when his wife is directly tied to the project's financial payout? She's tied to it. This isn't public service. It is a textbook ethical crisis. The Brantleys trade on our national assets while ordinary citizens sit in the dark. No electricity. Some have no water. And Mark Brantley cannot be trusted. As again, he tried to fool us by suggesting that Olivier Johnson is bringing his own money. Imagine that, my Straight Talk family.
The CBI program, you said, how does it affect Destiny? My understanding is it does not, because Destiny is not dependent on CBI in order to move forward.
I think the investors have their own resources. What they did offer is that for every purchase, they would make some monies available to the CBI fund, and then it will be for people to choose whether or not they wanted to apply. So I don't see that as having a significant impact.
What a lie, my Sweet Dog family. What a bold-faced lie. Because Oliver Johnson himself debunked that plain, blatant lie, my Sweet Dog family. Listen carefully to Oliver Johnson's.
And how the CBI gonna work when it comes to buying a condo or a home? If by buying that, if you're gonna have shares to sell. Do that come with shares? How that works?
You mean CBI or because I'm not?
Yes, yes. So where the funding gonna come? Yes. How does that work? Usually CBI mean you get amount of shares and then you sell the passport. The money will help to develop the project and stuff like that. So how does that work for your project?
Well, technically, it is when you buy a unit, right? The moment you have you have paid down at least $325,000, if I'm correct, you have a right to a passport, right? So we're talking to the government to make sure that every unit that gets sold also has an obligation or to get a passport with that unit. So there's a guaranteed CBI income per unit that is sold, if that makes any sense. But the whole idea is that the CBI program will be involved and St. Kitts and Nevis would get CBI income from units being sold, yes. Obligated, yes.
Obligated by Sweet Dog family. Let us listen to that soundbite one more time.
And how the CBI gonna work when it comes to buying a condo or a home? If by buying that, if you're gonna have shares to sell. Do that come with shares? How that works?
You mean CBI or because I'm not?
Yes. So where the funding gonna come? Yes. How does that work? Usually CBI mean you get amount of shares and then you sell the passport. The money will help to develop the project and stuff like that. So how does that work for your project?
Well, technically, it is when you buy a unit, right? The moment you have you have paid down at least $325,000, if I'm correct, you have a right to a passport, right? So we're talking to the government to make sure that every unit that gets sold also has an obligation or to get a passport with that unit. So there's a guaranteed CBI income per unit that is sold, if that makes any sense. But the whole idea is that the CBI program will be involved and St. Kitts and Nevis would get CBI income from units being sold, yes. Obligated, yes.
Obligated, he said. The $325,000 falls under the real estate option under the CBI. So Mark Brantley lied. But the question that arises is how will the EU ultimatum affect this project if approved by Sweet Dog family? It's a very good question. And we have to contemplate this question. We all know about the EU and what the EU has already said. Government to engage EU after request to end citizenship by investment by 2028 by Sweet Dog family. So these are the questions that arise. But let's end tonight with the worsening national debt and job crisis. And make no mistake, my Sweet Dog family, this double-edged incompetence is a structural disaster choking our economy and sinking our country deeper into the financial abyss. A worsening national debt is the situation, my Sweet Dog family. Every failed project, every botch mobilization, and every looming legal battle under this collective leadership, my Sweet Dog family, drags our nation deeper into the red ink. Deeper into the red ink, my Sweet Dog family. That's something we cannot dispute. The IMF has predicted hardships. And we must commend Peter Adrian for doing the analysis of the IMF report. He told us this.
While public debt is projected to continue rising, if things stay as it is, it doesn't matter which government is in power, this country is heading to a period of economic hardship. I'll quote it again. I'll read it again for those who may listen and then you don't get the gist. Let me just read the IMF quotation here. Fiscal pressures persist following the end of the CBI windfall. Full stop. Now, I don't make any modification. I'm just simply lifting the paragraph. Page 26 of the IMF report. The overall fiscal deficit widened further in 2025, public debt edged up closer to the 60% of GDP regional benchmark, and government deposit declined further, full stop, continue. Persistently, low CBI revenues are expected to keep deficit elevated in 2026 over the medium term, while public debt is projected to continue rising, end of quote. This is a very gloom paragraph. It is very, in fact, that paragraph is depressing. It's very depressing, but I wanted to lift it as it is.
Yes, my Street Dog family. Depressing to read the report. Deficit after deficit. And 2026 will be no difference. The federal government and the Nevis Island administration are borrowing and spending millions of our hard-earned tax dollars on ghost projects. Think of the smart hospital. But this reckless waste directly inflates our national debt, forcing future generations to pay for infrastructure that does not exist. The stagnation of jobs and opportunity. Another issue we must raise. While government or the government piles on debt, our people are left fighting a desperate lack of sustainable jobs. Where are the thousands of construction contracts promised by the slow student Jeffrey Hanley? Where are the agro-processing carriers promised by Samuel Duggins? Our young graduates are being forced to look overseas because there's no domestic job growth, and local contractors are being starved out of work while the cost of living skyrockets and the Basse High School is sent to Barbados. Deterring foreign investment. When global brands and international developers watch our Prime Minister and our Premier collapse into gridlock and multi-million-dollar lawsuits, it will scare away foreign capital. Capital will take flight as nobody will trust this joint administration to execute a contract. When you look at Destiny's liability versus the federal government's liability, and this is what Mark Brantley wants us, or Prime Minister, to sign. This is what they want to sign, my Street Dog family. A liability. Look at it. Look at the bottom paragraph. Read it for yourselves, my Street Dog family. $75 million. But they have hid the liability for the federal government. $23 billion derived from a formula to be used to account for their investment, both initial and future potential gains, and for their recovery to make them whole. My Straight Talk family, I said before, and it bears repeating, this is treasonous. But in conclusion, I must say the time for polite patience is over. We must reject the false choice that we must accept this chronic stagnation to maintain stability. We must refuse to let the incompetence of Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew and the compliance of Premier Mark Anthony Graham Brantley to dictate the financial future of our children. We must no longer stand by while they exploit a constitution born of political expediency to pass the buck. We must not allow them to force the Destiny Project on the people in Nevis, and by extension the people here in St. Kitts, while they pile up mountains of national debt. They promise us transformation. They promise us development. They promise us a future. But look around you at the abandoned fields, the unfinished CBI projects, and the broken promises. The reality of their leadership, my Straight Talk family, across both sides of the Narrows is clear. It's painful and undeniable. 2 islands, 1 federation, 0 results. And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails if you so minded calling, my Straight Talk family. And I want to say again, they promise us transformation. They promise us development. They promise us a future. But look around you, the abandoned fields, the unfinished CBI projects, and the broken promises. The reality of their leadership across both sides of the Narrows is clear. It is painful. It's undeniable. 2 islands, 1 federation, 0 results. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. The time for polite patience is over. We must reject the false choice. We must refuse to let the incompetence of Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew and the compliance of Premier Mark Brantley to dictate the future of our children. We must not allow them to force the Destiny Project on the people in Nevis and by extension the people in St. Kitts, while they pile up mountains of national debt. I anticipate, my Straight Talk family, that you will respect others. Of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. Caller, I want to thank you for holding you alive. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liber.
Good night, my dear. How art thou?
I am wonderful. What about you?
I am peaceful, my dear.
Okay, that's nice. The worst evils which mankind has ever had to endure were inflicted by bad government.
Were inflicted by government.
By bad government.
By bad government, sorry. By bad government.
I repeat, the worst evils which mankind has ever had to endure were inflicted by bad government. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well, and I thank my quotationists from across the Narrows, as usual, for providing a quotation. Very interesting as usual. The worst evils which mankind has ever had to endure were inflicted by bad government. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding caller your life. Hello, caller.
Thank you, Brother Patches. With my good manners and integrity, I must say, good night to all the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Moving forward, Brother Patches, you are always on the good, better, moving for the best due diligence of information and also unvarnished truth to us. And I will hold you high for that. No.
Thank you. Thank you.
That deal the Premier is trying to make on this destiny, let us dissect it. Let us cross-examine it. 75 million to 23 billion. I stand for correction. He said it. Do you know this is the biggest heist, if not one of the biggest heists on planet Earth? In plain sight? What kind of people is this to his own people? Listen, the new administration that come in, anything except labor. We cannot let these treasonous get away with this. This is like trying to mass murder the whole federation just for a piece of land that God gave to us and our forefathers sweat for this. And you out of your mind, Mark, and then the Prime Minister is the partner in crime? And people are going to put their check mark or their X mark, I never voted before, to affirm these people again? Listen, let me answer this question, Patches, and to all who listening. What is the penalty for treason? I heard and I read it in the history. Is that before you kill 50,000, 60,000 people of the Federation, I think we should throw that to these two kleptocrats and all its associates. We can't let these things go. I am fighting for the people of the Federation of St. Kitts. Money is not a part of me. I am part of quality, dignity, the rule to live, the role for life, until God ready for us. Not another man try to sweep our right, our dignity. And I am a dignity defender. It is your dignity. But some people, dignity is not mine. Look at what these two people doing. And I'm seriously, and I will continue to be adamant. We can't let these people go after election. And we can't allow who is condoning their BS. I wish I could use choice words, but I respect your show. But I am very, very serious from the bottom of my heart. Okay? One thing I can say, PAM Labour, PAM CCM, PAM, sorry, let me correct. PAM, NRP, Independence, and all who else decide to participate in this upcoming election. Let us all group together to get rid of these people, else the consequences will be severe and massive. For 20 pieces of silver, just like how Jesus was sold out for. And what is the benefit? The state has to take action against these people for their treasonous intention, the treasonous act. And Oliver Johnson knows what he is doing. He is premeditatedly preying on us. For what? Your dirty money? We don't want it. You don't need your money, but Oliver Johnson. Get out of St. Kitts and Nevis. You are a fake citizen, okay, for your own self-aggrandize, and we don't need it. St. Kitts people has pride. Nevis people has pride. And definitely, I for one will stand in front all of your face.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me. I'm cutting. I'm coming with part 2 next.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Being so passionate. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Libert.
Yes, good evening, sir. Cal Brown.
Good evening to the listeners home and abroad. Mr. Libert, a few comments, maybe a few statements, questions we may have to ask.
Yeah, but let's try to keep it to 2 minutes. Okay? It's something going on for 5 minutes. Let's try to keep it to 2.
Yes, Mr. Libert. Let us go to the Smart Hospital, and I told you about it last week, and we have been discussing this for a while. Dr. Joe is coming on there lying. I'm going to say it boldly, because people afraid to say it. Lying to the Federation and the world about the Smart Hospital, and they go down there and they put up double board pointing in all direction that you must see it, whether you're coming or you're going. But here the thing, I keep asking the question, Mr. Libert, what value, how much of those people down there are willing to sell the land for this project to go through? Some of the persons down there, an organization and companies decide they are not selling because they have plans in development for that area. You never hear Dr. Joe at the round table, at the press conference, or even on Freedom, ZIZ, right? Anywhere he go, talk about how much he paying the people, or he willing to pay the persons or companies or organization for the value of their lands down there. And I keep asking this for many months, and no talk show host, no minister, no PS, no manager, no supervisor, nobody could answer the question. Are all the people down there in that land come from almost down by the Ross University for animals, come right up to the, well, people call it the Ross University for medicine, and so the other one up to the top up there, right? But we are told that that part is not of Ross.
Okay.
We are asking the question, how much and what negotiation is going on for those lands? I keep telling you, Mr. Libert.
Okay, I got you from. Yes.
The last quick thing before I go, Mr. Libert, over in Nevis, right? As I said last week, that project could be a good project for St. Kitts, Nevis, and even the world over, because, you know, we have all kind of countries and denominations living in the Federation, and they will benefit, including locals will benefit. My thing is, if we are going to the laws and the Constitution, I will continue to repeat it, that's the only way that project could be successful.
Okay.
If they want to do their own thing and they're starting off on it, it ain't gonna happen.
Okay. Okay.
Good night, Mr. Libert. I'll be back.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Let's try to juggle these emails in the meanwhile. Good night or good evening, Patches. Please allow me to regress a bit from your thesis. I think you mean digress from your thesis tonight to bring a serious matter to your attention. This week, Monday, Marcus Natter, Cabinet Secretary, in his report spoke of the Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioner, and Commander of the Defense Force who attended Cabinet on Monday and updated Cabinet as to the status of security in the country. The report spoke of a massive reduction in crime and criminal activity. And for that, government has gone on a bragging spree. What security forces heads failed to inform cabinet of is the level of fear and insecurities that the average citizens are experiencing in their homes, on the streets, and especially in Basseterre, as persons no longer can traverse the streets of Basseterre after 10 p.m. right down to 5 a.m. for the real likelihood of them falling victim for a mugging. Patches, the criminal elements under this government now have free reins to rob persons at will whenever they attend the various ATMs in town. Recently, Patches, after finished working at the hotel and the bus dropped me in town, as I live in town, I decided to use the ATM by Ready Fried Chicken. As I observed my surroundings, I saw two men lurking nearby. I abandoned going into the ATM and proceeded to the ATM in the circus. Again, the same two men was on Bank Street, leaning up and observing me. I did not go into the ATM, so I proceeded to the ATM at the main National Bank. To my surprise, the same two men were there seated at the entrance of the square. I walked straight to the police station from the ATM. The police mocked me to scorn. I related my experience to colleagues of mine, and I was informed that if I didn't know that people stopped going to the ATM after hours, thus leaving our citizens living the grip of fear for their safety. The cabinet need to ask the security heads why, when people report suspicious persons lurking in Independence Square, that the only advice police can give it is for them to walk straight up 4th Street. Is this the safer with labor we the citizens deserve? Thanks much, Patches. Reads that email. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Legot Carl Brown, quickly. Do you have any information that the Destiny Group, in negotiation with the government of Nevis, right, agreed to produce and have delivered a dialysis center in Nevis where they are hosting 5 patients annually, and everything of that was paid for and delivered by the agreement by the Nevis government and the Destiny project. And Nevis now is hosting and delivering complete training have taken place, and people are now not traveling to St. Kitts and not traveling to Antigua, where they are getting the full slate of dialysis in Nevis.
Okay.
And that was delivered on agreement by Destiny. You could do some investigation on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go back to the lines. Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Yes, sir.
You look like you take me card tonight, bye.
Who is this, the Bible man?
Yes, it's the Bible man. Every time you come out.
What's on your mind? Use your time wisely.
What's on your mind? Psalm 34.
Psalm 34. Yes, Bible man, go ahead.
I will bless the Lord all times. His praise shall continue in my mouth. My soul shall make a boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear it and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, And let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord and he heard me.
And
And
delivered
he
me
delivered me from all my fear.
my fears. Yes.
You hear it, eh?
Yes.
Deliver me from all my fear. They look upon me and they were lightning, and their face was not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and delivered him from all his troubles. Psalm 41 is a battle.
Your road match.
Psalm 41. Blessed is the man
Considers the poor.
that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. The Lord shall deliver him. He said, this poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and delivered him from all his troubles.
Okay.
Psalms 107. Psalms 100. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord,
He is good.
for his good,
His mercies.
for his mercy endureth forever. He said, let the Redeemer of the Lord say so, who he had delivered from the hands of the enemy. That is good night.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother, the Bible man, for what I call your spiritual interventions. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Let's see. I'm sorry about that. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man. How you doing tonight, bro?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Pretty good. Straight to call. He need not confuse himself. He listens to Mark Brantley couple weeks in a row, and he called into Mark a couple of weeks in a row, and he heard what Mark told him.
About the
There's no
dialysis.
reason to come on. There's no reason to come on another program like you're confused. Mark, the premier, says the dialysis building is well. Finally, he came out and said it like maybe like last week and a half on Banky and Yasson show. After Daly and those other guys has been questioning who is funding that dialysis building, he finally said on Banky and Yasson podcast that he is comfortable now when he uttered the words that Destiny is funding it. Destiny is funding that dialysis building, as the premier said.
I think he said for 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yes.
For 2 years, they're gonna have the staffing of it and the operation of it, and maybe the supplies, whatever supplies they need there. For 2 years. After that, the NIA has to take over. We need not be confused about that. That's plain and simple. We move on. Patches. DJ Marisha did a live over on the south side of Nevis. All of the proposed, he scanned the area and he went over there and had some tradings. He was trading over there with the guy, Livingston Williams, one of the landowners over there. Patches, that tour, he took a tour. Let me put it like that. He took a tour of the area. It's a vast amount of lands, Patches. The man went all the way up in the hill and Saddle Hill. And
But the lands don't look barren. The lands.
No. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm thanking DJ Marisha for doing that live because for persons who don't know Nevis, for persons who's out here in the diaspora, we've been out here for a minute. But me, I'm a real Nevis man, Patches. I don't know those lands like I never really tried over in that direction that much because I was up to 16 when I left home. But when we look at the video, they got people over there that's doing farming and raising animals and stuff like that. And the whole thing about that area, right, Patches, is the potential.
Yeah.
What can happen with that area down forward in the future? We're talking about cutting the food import bill. Man, the government in Nevis, they have limited or no lands in that area. So I don't see why the Premier and the NIA could be entertaining this Destiny project. The lands them over there is primarily owned by the locals. That means you have to go wring these people's hands. You have to come with a lot of trickery and deceit to get these land from these people. And what has transpired thus far, man, Patches, that stuff, you cannot do that shit, excuse my language, in America or some other countries. Man, if you get busted in America with any type of conflicts of interest and you're using your office to make money for you and your family, man, you're going down. You're going down. Patches, you're going down. And I'm gonna tell this to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Man, you all too docile and naive down there underground. That Destiny project, man, is like a takeover. Man, Patches, man, I tell you, bro, I could talk for like 2-3, man, I could talk from now until Kingdom Come. This stuff was going on in St. Kitts and Nevis, bro, is unbelievable. There's so much of conflicts of interest over there. And we're hearing from a learned lawyer that there's no conflict of interest.
Imagine that.
And that stuff is unbelievable. But Patches, I'm gonna tell you, right? I was living in New Jersey, man, and there's a mayor of a town named Patterson. Patches, when the judge got him in front of him, the judge squeezed him up for stuff like this, using the taxpayers' money to improve his home and pay his friends to work on his residence and stuff like that. Patches, that mayor cried in front of the judge when the judge was sentencing him. Man, Mark Brantley better be careful, bro. He gotta be careful. And lastly, I'm just gonna say, man, the Prime Minister, Patches, you know what a blind date is. The Prime Minister let this man convince him to go into Parliament and table that SSC bill, and now it's a law. And the Prime Minister himself, he probably never been to Nevis on that side. And I'm challenging the Prime Minister tonight. Man, get on your sneakers or whatever you got to get on and get over there at Nevis and tour those lands where Destiny want before you think about putting that signature on that document. Patches, if he take that tour over there, man, I'm telling the Prime Minister tonight, man will fund his day trip over to Nevis. Somebody got my number, he could pass my number to the Prime Minister. Because guess what, Patches? If this man put his signature on that document and he know that the requirements that Destiny want is violating the Constitution, man, he's not gonna survive. It's gonna be like a political suicide. So all we can say, Patches, lastly, you put up all the information with all the projects that's sitting around the place, failed and incomplete. And that's what we got to look at. The GDP for St. Kitts Nevis is what, $1.14 billion? And you're going to tell me that the default for Destiny is going to be up to 23 billion? That means that, but look at the record is showing that the projects are failing. They're incomplete. So anyhow, there's any type of mishaps with Destiny, man, it's a total takeover of St. Kitts and Nevis because the default amount is bigger than our GDP. And the people in them got to pay attention to this stuff. Man, we're sitting there let these politicians trick us and deceive us. But guess what? The information is here in Washington, D.C. And you see, America is trying to extradite the leader of the opposition in Guyana. But guess what? When America ready for St. Kitts Nevis, man, we're going to be surprised when the man come down there and pick up these so-called politicians that we got as gods and kings. Thanks a lot, Patches, man. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well. And yes, we must not stop. We must not stop making the point that it is the Brantley household that will benefit most from this project. Yes, Sharon Mama Brantley, when it is all said and done, she alone, only she, will collect over $100 million from the land sales. Listen to Mark answering this question.
Mr. Premier, you said in a, I don't know if it was a press conference or somewhere, you said that your wife was the person who was looking lands and either buying or selling to Destiny. Can you tell us if she's in that same position as of today? Can you tell us if there has been any has you picked up any sales on any lands over in the south recently? And has anybody pulled back each other? Can you tell us that? Thanks.
Yeah, the only aspect of that caller that I could answer is to say that my wife was hired by Destiny some time ago to contact owners of lands in the area to determine whether or not they'll be minded to sell their lands. Some have agreed to sell, some have said they will not sell, some have negotiated, and I believe that that process is still ongoing. But I can confirm that my wife is working on that project as a realtor. She was approached by them and she is assisting them in reaching out to potential sellers, to owners of lands, and trying to determine whether or not they're minded to sell. I think that was the position from day one, and that continues to be the position.
And he says that with a measure of pride. He couldn't be premier in England or the USA with this stark conflict of interest at the heart of Destiny. Just pull back the curtain and look at the real rotten deal. While Mark Brantley publicly acts as the loudest cheerleader for the Destiny project, what we have discovered, a massive, undeniable conflict of interest. Sharon Mama Brantley, his wife, and here, my wife, serving as the sole real estate agent in charge of procuring land for the billionaire-backed developers. And he said it's a go-between. Yet Mark Brantley tells us he's fighting for public jobs, but his own household stands to collect millions in private real estate commissions. How can the people of Nevis trust Mark Brantley to negotiate an unbiased development agreement when his wife is directly tied to the project's financial payout? This isn't public service. It is a textbook ethical crisis. The Brantleys trade on our national assets while ordinary citizens sit in the dark. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburn, Calicon Aunt.
How art thou, Calicon's aunt?
It's here now. I try to get him, but I cannot get him.
You're in now.
You see Mark Brantley and Dr. Jonah, all of them, you study them, you know. Don't study with them. The Bible says when you do good follow you. And when you do wickedness can come your way. So you don't take them on, you don't study with them. What I call to say, Mr. Liburn, what it is he has today in the house? I ain't see where he you not know where he is to say, well, they're going to host or send their waiver. But his topic tonight, his topic was today, is on Mr. Richards and Mr. Harris. Why? Mr. Harris is done out of power. He is in power. He led on everybody in this country. He got everybody in this country like a laughing stock. But you want to come tell me he not hear people cry? No, he not hear people cry because he not gonna ear hole. He ear hole them stop up. I pray and hope tonight, Mr. Lloyd, that when did they come for election, those people in Stinkit they get warning and talking from Mr. Harris, don't go put back in the man there. Are you listening today, you know, when he talking all kind of cock and hen, and all kind of bull hen, and all kind of hen and hen, and all kind of thing he talking, saying, you know, because he ain't stand up to his promise when he tell the people he gonna get them 1,005. Mr. Harris used to give everybody 500. He brought it down to 250 at Jad. Now we start all together. He ain't listening to the people and call mothers and father. fathers that do mothers and father will become maybe the mother dead gone left them. School soon open. He now listen to the people and quiet. He want people to go get more children. He gonna support them. The young man them up and down the road. Well want a job. No work there. The economy get low. The economy get worse. You scared to see anybody in Bosago Town. You scared to see anybody in the water town. You scared to see anybody in the store them. You scared to see anybody in the supermarket. Everybody do open. But no money there because the economy going down. Mr. Harris put money in there. When he reach in, he said the country red. What you do with all the people tax money? Eh? What you doing with people tax money? You doing a lot of damn nonsense to it. Eh? The man and the cabal them cannot run this country. They don't know what they're doing. Me here, Shamal, where we name to the attack. He come like somebody proclaim who talk whatever. They don't know what they do. They don't know what they say. They don't know what happened to the country. The people have not studied them. Everybody in this country get fed up with them. I hope when the election come, they make the mistake again. Who go put them back inside there and let them fool them? Put about and give them $500 to go in there. Who put the X again? Who them? One time in office and they got the place in a state.
Okay.
They don't know what they're doing. Okay. They cannot run the country. The country too big with them. It ain't easy to run a country.
Okay.
It's a big thing on your shoulder to run a country.
Okay, got you loud and clear, Kalai Kwazan. Thanks for your contribution as usual.
Wonderful night.
Yes.
And you get home safe.
Thank you very much. Be good yourself. Be safe. I know High Patches reads this email. I know that this would be of concern to some listeners and not to some. But I have to get it off my mind. I hate to say this, but I cannot let it stay on my mind. I will not be listening to your program when Carl comes on to make his voice heard. Last night, I was listening to Undermark, and he called into the program, and I realized from his conversation that he is a crook. He even attacked a female caller because she was questioning Mark about something he said some years ago. I was shocked when Carl took it out on the lady. I think I cannot listen to Carl when he calls in. No, not me. Thanks for reading my email. Reads this email. Mark is an awful premier, is the caption of this email. Why out of every realtor in Nevis, they approach Mark Brantley's wife? People pay attention to Mark Brantley and how they are raping the Nevis people. Some people are so politically blind and fooled that they still stand with Mark. Patches hell is not going to refuse them kind of wicked heart people in Nevis. Nevis people vote Brantley out. He's calling the people in Nevis stupid without saying it. Listen to him carefully. Reads this email. This other email reads, we want him back. Imagine the people of St. Kitts gave Prime Minister to July because he's a good doctor. Now from doctor to dog balling. Patches, something is not right with Labour. It's like obey on them. They're paying for something and we the people are feeling it. The only thing selling right now is fried chicken backs or shelly snack. But the people cannot live like this anymore. The country is going down to nothing land. Labour got to go. Another thing is while the big heads fight and mash up the PAM party, I want to tell the people, PLP welcomes all. Good night, reads this email. This other email reads, Mark Brantley is without a soul. Good night, Patches. I listened to the clip of Mr. Mark Brantley at that show talking about his wife being the go-between, Destiny and the property owners. And all I can say is that Mark Brantley is without a soul. Look at the disrespectful way he treated that lady in the town hall when she spoke about what was being said about this new development. He told the lady to go and read her Bible and dismiss her. Now to come and say his wife is the realtor. Does Mark Grantley want the people to believe that he did not know about the development and his wife was so heavily involved? A disgrace. What has happened to our people? When did we become so timid and afraid to stand up for ourselves and our country? When will it be enough? Read this email. And I feel that way as well. Oh, I had this caller holding. Caller, forgive me. I had you holding for some time. Thank you for holding.
You are forgiven. You are forgiven.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's my voice again. I don't have to say it. Everyone knows my voice. Patches, forgive me. The previous email that you read about Carl Brown, someone of my confidant called me and told me about Carl and this conversation about the destiny. And I've listened to Carl Brown on Win FM. I listened to him recently on your show. But Carl Brown is acting like a hypocrite. I'm not going to say anything more. And many has the same interpretation like I do. Carl is acting like a hypocrite. And and he knows what he's saying. Moving from that, we are embracing, not me. When I say we, the general public of St. Kitts are embracing the leader of PLP. I need the information to come out about the leader of PLP during his tenure, because he is one who hurt the Federation. But the list is there. I was waiting for you to come out with the list. Going back several times, probably about a year or two ago, I mentioned I'm going to come with the list, but I was waiting for the proper people to do it. I am going to come out with a list. I need an investigation in Douglas, Harris. I'm not going to go to Lescan because Lescan is not from St. Kitts. I don't know him. I want the two prime ministers, the three prime ministers in St. Kitts, from Terence Joe to Harris to Douglas. They have our monies, and it's not going to go like that. I am no friend with none who have hurt my people. I don't associate with kleptocrats. I need the United States government to do its job and pick up these people for the crime that they have done to their people. I am calling up, even if the previous administration, even if it's Trump gone, even if it's Rubio gone, I need it to be continued to go at these. I need the information so the people can make a decision to put in proper people in the office. Not those who've been there. I'm going to come back again. I don't trust no incumbents.
Okay.
None. They had their time. So,
got you.
Harris. I say no.
Okay.
Okay? I will associate with PAM, NRP, and all the new candidates for the new parties. But none of those. And I'm plain and I'm blunt.
Okay.
And I have no water in my mouth. I need the information out there, else I'm going to read my list.
Okay.
Time is due.
Thanks a lot. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. It's 2 before 10 o'clock. We are winding down tonight's program and caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches, good night.
Good night, my brother. That sounds like Mr. Politics. Mm-hmm.
Yes. First, I always want to give God thanks for life. Give God thanks for a blessed country. We're praying for some rain to come. The farmers, them struggling, the livestock farmers and the ground farmers. We know that we got a failed Minister of Agriculture there. They ain't looking out for the farmers, them, and they ain't doing nothing at all. He just picking the ways. So, people, we know what they got to do. And Patches, experience always matter. No matter what you're going to. You can't pick up no lot of group of young man. And we got to get the experience between them and work with them. You understand?
Sure.
Because maybe that they will go and do the same thing. Now, Patches. Now, I believe that Destiny Project, when the unity government was here, the Premier Nevis had planned. That's where the unity fall. That's where the unity fall, Patches. People stop looking and listen. You understand? And a unity government was there doing so well for the country. Getting project done. In just 7 years, they get the deep water port, the old road there, the oil and main road. What the school was to build, the school might have done built, right? And the hospital up there might have been in a better condition. And with the fail us, pull out the people and when election come and fail us. So I just calling on the people of this country, especially PAM, Labour, CCM, NRP, who serve independent. They hear things about independent, but I don't believe that these independent people will come. They're serious about where we're. You understand? And you see the situation with PAM now, Patches. And all what I got to tell the people them, I believe that situation with PAM, the People's Action Movement, turn a great move to the PLP. I believe that if these people get fed up and get vexed with what's going on, I believe the election got a call now. They're going to vote on a PLP ticket because everybody know the intention of Dr. Harris when he was the leader of this country. How we look out for the poor man. And I always say that if Harris get an next chance in this country, I believe that he could bring back, as the Prime Minister, I believe that he could bring back Sinkit and Nevis in the economical ups, not down. We ain't going back, we're going forward. And this is the Labour administration setting back this country. Patrice, you have a wonderful night. May God bless Straight Talk and God bless you. And God bless those in the diaspora who make the contribution and want to see things done better in this country. Patrice, have a wonderful night. God bless.
Have a wonderful night as well. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, sir. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I am here, just listening, but decide to call in. The caller was put 3 callers ago. He getting on like that. I sure believe that's the caller who said when he was in office, he wanted to come here and be an advisor to Dr. Harris. Was he attacking him so now? And on the other hand, do you recall that our present Prime Minister said he believes we're going to run out of construction workers?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
good. Yeah, because there's going to be too much work going on. We're going to run out of construction workers.
You had to believe him?
Me? Not me, Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Not me. If I did believe him, I want to be talking about it.
I'm just making sure, my brother.
No.
Okay. Yes.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay,
Have a pleasant time, man.
Good to hear, my brother. Let's go back to
Yes, man. Yeah. I don't be listening all the time. I don't call all the time, but I don't be listening.
Thanks a lot, my brother. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hey, Patrice, good night.
Yeah, good night, sir.
You know, the gentleman there who always calling from America and tell the man to keep up with Timothy here.
Idea, caller? Hello?
Hey, Patrice.
Yeah, you listen to your telephone. Just move away from equipment.
Yeah.
You're saying what?
Yeah. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. I want the whole world to hear you.
Right. So I was telling you that gentleman from America who always calling in and bashing Tim. Tell him always, Tim ain't need help when election come. Okay? And let him know Tim is the best leader that this country ever see. You understand me?
Okay.
Tell the man to keep off of Timothy. Because Timothy don't need help.
Okay, got
you.
You
Understand? So let's stop America where he can't come back and say it. If he come and say it, he can't go back to America. You understand? Let him know if he come say it, he cannot come back to America. That is why he stop in America and a bang, he does him out.
Okay.
So let him go where he going.
Okay, my brother. Okay, my brother, got you loud and clear. Hi, Patches reads this email. Good night. I was shocked when I saw two headlines today. One where a civil servant took the AG to court and she won the case. But she's waiting for the court to deliver the settled amount. Who would settle this payment? There was another case with one Mr. Payne. The case was dismissed in favor of Mr. Payne with cause. This means another bill for the government. And you can rest assured Mr. Payne will be taking the government to court for a big cause. Watch out, Mr. Payne will leave no stone unturned, reads this email. Hi, Patches, good night. I think that the answer to SSZ is no, not in Nevis. Go somewhere else, because the people of Nevis will regret such a project. Mark knows that with Sharon as the go-between, it speaks volumes. There's a conflict of interest with the husband as the premier pushing the project. He has nothing to lose. Hats off the Mark. No wonder he was the brightest student in class. Do not let the investors put their hands on our passports, because we are now realizing the sale of the passport is working for the SSZ. Have mercy on these two islands. We're going to hold our belly and ball. Johnson looks like a big bad wolf. He does not think well of divisions. He wants to make the natives step 10 steps backward. We are in a lot of trouble, so do not make it any worse. Reads this email. And those are my emails for tonight. No, I have one more email here. Let that man keep his list and feed it to Pam. We the people who are in a better standings on the team unity. Let them do a survey. Life is the hardest and worst ever under this Labour government. Patches all over grey and patch in both islands. Brantley boasted how much he got under Tim. He thought he would have gotten more under July, but July gave him a doggy. The best decision for St. Kitts and Nevis is PLP. Hands down, no water in my mouth. PLP took care of us. July took away from us. Patches, I like a man who give rather than take away. Read this email. Yes, caller, you're alive. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches. Additionally, what I want to say about that dialysis building in Nevis. The building, from my understanding, the building is not complete and it's not in operation. I mean, somebody can call me and tell me, or call here and prove me wrong. The dialysis building in question in Nevis, it is not in operation yet. That's what I have gathered from my knowledge and from the information put out there.
Okay.
And maybe I will just piggyback from one or two of the previous callers. Patches, the people in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis underground, they have no idea the manner of evil that these politicians have done to our country by ripping that money out of the CBI program over the years from its inception. But I'm warning the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, we have the information here in Washington, D.C. And America is on a path where they are trying to dominate and take control back of the Western Hemisphere and get rid of those Chinese who is investing in the Caribbean region. And the CBI program has put a pathway where America primarily is concerned about their national security.
Yes.
And we cannot afford, man, these politicians, past and present, they have committed so much treasonous acts to the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. The people on the ground doesn't seem to understand that. So we keep supporting these kleptocrats. We keep supporting them. They are not gods or kings. We need to seek a new direction, a new paradigm. We need new politicians. We need a clean slate, a brand new clean slate. Man, these guys that's already been in there, they got the money in their bank accounts overseas. The information is here. Patches, when we start to unravel that information, some people are going to be surprised. But I won't be one of those persons. I'm telling the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that. I am not naive to none of this stuff. These guys need to be in jail. The amount of money they have taken from the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, it ain't funny. And still going forward from here, they're not going to bring no project to St. Kitts and Nevis to benefit the poor working class.
Okay.
The poor people are going to suffer, and that criminal element is going to come back. And when it comes back, it's going to come back worse than it ever been before. It's time for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to wake up.
Okay.
Patches, man. Have a good night, Patches.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Yes, tell him keep up with Tim. Tim loves the citizens and we love him too. But America should come for the 3 PMs. Let them go with the rest and leave with Tim. But I'll feel sorry for Douglas, but because he getting down. I should have tell, but when they pick up Jew, we gone Champions Bar to bust a drink. Read this email. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
That is good evening. How are you?
I am peaceful, my dear. Yourself?
I'm giving that thanks. I will tell it to you.
Sounds like the dimple lady. I got you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is, if you listen, long time I want to tell you, Carl Bones sound like this St. Thomas man. Long time since he ain't come back on. I say I do not know where he come back for. He sound like the St. Thomas man. And if you listen to him, he like Dwyer. He and Dwyer sound the same thing. They like Santi and Bingo match up, they cut it on both sides. You don't know where they be. But I will give Dwyer a chance because Dwyer getting senile. But I think things supposed to do better. He's supposed to do better, but you can't trust them, eh? Them kind of people there, you can't trust them. Carl Brown, why I don't know. Long time I've been telling about him, I don't have been going to call you to tell you about him,
Okay.
He cannot be trusted. He and Doya sound alike and the man from St. Thomas. The three of them. Be aware of them. Okay. And what's that? And so if you remember when Joe get in first in the government, he started to say that he can't sleep when night time come because the amount of phone call he get in for people calling him so that they ain't want to work on that Timothy.
Yes.
But they just waiting until when he get in, he get in for them to come. Well, where is the people then? Where are the people then? And you notice every time he talk, he always also say, this is the first time this happy coming to St. Kitts. This is the first time he coming to St. Kitts. Where they be? What kind of things that is the first time coming to St. Kitts? Me and see nothing coming to St. Kitts. Not a thing.
Okay.
They do good, They do good because right now here, karma is kicking in fast.
Okay.
Do good to people if people do good to you because what you saw, you're going to also reap. You have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well. Do unto others as you have them do unto you, they say. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. I'm out of time. Can you use it?
I'll try cut it short. But yes,
sir.
It's me again.
Mm-hmm.
I know I will have critique and blowback. But let me say to all these people
you
who
know,
have their blowback towards me.
No.
Let's hear me out.
I'm going to let you talk because...
I'm not cursing.
Let me say something. Wait. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, right?
Yeah,
You know, I take blame for that, right? Because I should have stopped it earlier, right? But I allowed it, so I have to give everybody, you know, the rebut or the rebuttal, right?
That's not
But but I don't really like it. But I can allow you to rebut. But I'll give you 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Yes, allow me to rebut. Listen, you people in St. Kitts who listen to this show and others, you all don't have no information of the truth of our leaders. And I could tell you, brother man or sister, I have the information about all these people who hurt the
Where you got your information from, may I ask?
Huh? No, I'm not going to reveal my sources.
Okay.
And I waited. But if you're not the only one who have information, I do. And I'm in touch with the direct source.
You do?
As you do. Before you two. But it would have been hard to believe.
Okay.
And you end up believe. So I'm telling you straight up. I don't have to reveal my sources.
Okay. Good.
Everyone has sources. I have legitimate sources.
Okay.
But let me just get back to these people. Look, God made men. And good, better, best. No one could ever become the best because we trail in the best. The best is always yet to come. So when one gonna say, come off of Timothy, okay? Hey, I'm not telling you not to vote for Timothy. Vote for him. That's your choice. But I am gonna tell you, we don't need people who have hurt the Federation before. Okay? So I don't endorse them. I cannot condone with them.
Okay.
Okay? I stand for my defense anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
I am Winston Welcome, and I am a contestant, a political candidate in this upcoming 2027 election.
Okay,
when it calls.
Okay.
So allow me. Okay?
Okay.
If you feel you're going to endorse another man as your leader, why don't you become a leader too, if you have?
Okay.
People rule you and steer you in the direction that they saw fit.
Okay.
I need you to jump and ask me how high.
Okay.
But I am not afraid to face and debate and challenge any of these people because they are damn crooks.
Okay, my brother.
I close.
I got you loud and clear. Let's go back to the lines. Thank this caller for holding caller. I can only afford 10 seconds. Hello, caller. Okay, seems to have missed that caller. Yes, caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Mr. Libert, Carl Brown here. Quickly, 10 seconds. Do you know in 2020 when Unity won 2 exceptional seats to carry to 9? Remember also that the Honorable Sean Richards, the Honorable Timothy Harris, and a number of his relatives and, you know, the Governor General, and those people went up there, the Attorney General and so. You know, in 2020, that was an illegal government because the Constitution states the one to command the authority of the elected representative after election is cheering at the Prime Minister.
I don't like this, but I don't.
Let us go along the road.
No. We ain't gonna. We're out of time. We can't debate that nonsense tonight, right? Right? If it is we read the Constitution properly, all right. It is in the Governor General in his deliberate opinion, and he appointed the Prime Minister. So I don't know what you're talking about. Let's go back to the lines and take this call and make this my last call for tonight. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. I'll give you 10 seconds, and I'm serious about 10 seconds. No more than that.
I want no problem about it.
Yeah.
You said you are supposed to bring something over about the making thing. But me wasn't trying to look through that. I mean, I find it.
What's the American thing? Oh, you mean, okay. If I have your number, I can WhatsApp it to you. Okay. But this is once again.
You want the number?
If I have your number, I'll WhatsApp it to you.
When we I have two numbers. 669 3430.
They have WhatsApp.
Yeah, that have WhatsApp.
Okay, good. All right, I'll WhatsApp it to you. Okay, my brother.
Yeah.
Okay, have yourself a good night. Good night. You know, the Governor General, who at the time was the King's or Queen's Council, King's Council, right? In his own deliberate judgment, appointed Harris as the Prime Minister, and Carl, you're talking nonsense. I don't go that route sometimes, but I must tell you that about illegal government. They had an illegal government. We had an illegal government. Nonsense you're talking. Anyway, my Straight Talk family, my time is done and I got to run. And tonight we looked at our thesis: 2 islands, 1 federation, 0 results. And I asked the question from the onset: how long must we suffer the catastrophic incompetence of our current leadership? We are being governed by a political class of professional groundbreakers who seem to excel at cutting ribbons, breaking, turning the sod or turning the soil, but failing completely at delivering results. We understand why our system fails today. And we must look at how it all began. And we looked at how it all began back in 1983, where we had a constitution crafted out of a pure vision for sheer, which should have been crafted, I should say, out of a pure vision for shared prosperity. But it was forged in the fires of political expediency. My Straight Talk family, Sim Daniel demanded what he wanted and got it. He got his own government, his own administration. He got a proportional share of the revenue collected by the federal government. And he got his right to secede. And the architects of our independence hurried a complex framework into law to satisfy short-term political gains, leaving us with a deeply fractured relationship till today between Bastille and Charlestown. My Straight Talk family, look at the wreckage of flagship federal promises on St. Kitts. It's a shameful monument to state failure, brought to us by a cabinet fast asleep at the wheel. We mentioned Samuel Duggins. Remember he promised us money on trees? Remember they promised us Tabasco pepper? A smart housing scam under the student Jeffrey Hanley? Look at what the so-called engineer did with our solar farm. And now renting generators for over 2 years. 2 years, the man renting generators at $10.5 million US per year. Don't spend $21 million, my Straight Talk family. We haven't heard of East Coast Housing Development, who levied charges, serious charges against the so-called engineer, the slow student that should be, and the Attorney General. What happened, Brian Singh? Did you allow them to bury that matter in court? Did you sign a non-disclosure agreement? What happened? Look at the Bastille High School nightmare. Look at it, my Straight Talk family. And they're gone to Barbados to build a school. Imagine that, my Straight Talk family. No sort of economic sense whatsoever. And I was happy when I hear this lady say this. At least somebody was listening. And this lady speaks with authority. I believe she's an economist by training. I stand corrected. But she knows what she was talking about. And I was happy when she said this about the Basti High School.
Our government made a big mistake when it takes a $200 million project plus Basti High School. And a good portion of that money is going to be spent in another island when we could have been generating jobs, economic activity, skills for our young people here. Right? It's gone elsewhere.
Elsewhere, my Straight Talk family, that's where it's gone, to Barbados. The new Barbados High School is what we call it. Look at the Destiny Project bottleneck. Look at the lies Mark Anthony Graham Brantley is telling. He told us that Johnson brought his own resources, or bringing his own resources.
The CBI program, you said, how does it affect Destiny? My understanding is it does not, because Destiny is not dependent on CBI in order to move forward. I think the investors have their own resources. What they did offer is that for every purchase, they would make some monies available to the CBI fund, and then it will be for people to choose whether or not they wanted to apply. So I don't see that as having a significant impact.
What a lie. Justin said this himself, my Straight Talk family. Bring him what own money. He wants CBI.
The government has guaranteed full financial absorption of all costs.
Take that back, my Straight Talk family. Take that back. Take that back. I want to give you the right one. Take that back. It's getting late.
And how the CBI gonna work when it comes to buying a condo or a home? If by buying that, if you're gonna have shares to sell. Do that come with shares? How that works?
You mean CBI, or because I'm not?
Yes, yes. So where the funding gonna come? Yes. How does that work? Usually CBI mean you get amount of shares and then you sell the passport. The money will help to develop the project and stuff like that. So how does that work for your project?
Well, technically, it is when you buy a unit, right? The moment you have you have paid down at least $325,000, if I'm correct, you have a right to a passport, right? So we're talking to the government to make sure that every unit that gets sold also has an obligation or to get a passport with that unit. So there's a guaranteed CBI income per unit that is sold, if that makes any sense. But the whole idea is that the CBI program will be involved and St. and Nevis both get CBI income from units being sold, yes.
But he bringing his own resources. The man depended on CBI. And we must not stop making the point that it is the Brantley household that will benefit the most from the Destiny if God forbid it's approved. Yes, Sharon Mama Brantley, when it is all said and done, she alone will collect over $100 million from land sales, my Straight Talk family.
Mr. Premier, you said I don't know if it was a press conference or somewhere, you said that your wife was the person who was looking lands and either buying or selling to Destiny. Can you tell us if she's in that same position as of today? Can you tell us if there has been any has you picked up any sales on any lands over in the south recently? And has anybody pulled back each other? Can you tell us that? Thanks.
Yeah, the only aspect of that, caller, that I could answer is to say that my wife was hired by Destiny some time ago to contact owners of lands in the area to determine whether or not they'll be minded to sell their lands. Some have agreed to sell. Some have said they will not sell. Some have negotiated and I believe that that process is still ongoing. But I can confirm that my wife is working on that project as a realtor. She was approached by them, and she is assisting them in reaching out to potential sellers, to owners of lands, and trying to determine whether or not they're minded to sell. I think that was the position from day one, and that continues to be the position.
It was Lord Cotto said, only in St. Christopher we'll find this conflict of interest at the heart of destiny. And he says it with a measure of pride. My wife. And he says she was the go-between. Just pull back the curtain and look at the rotten things that's happening over there in the Premier's office and in his household. Well, Mark Brantley acts publicly as the loudest cheerleader for the Destiny Project. What we discovered? A massive, undeniable conflict of interest. Sharon Mama Brantley, the wife of Premier Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, serving as a sole real estate agent in charge of procuring land for the billionaire-backed developers, the go-between. And Mark Anthony Graham Brantley comes to tell us he's fighting for public jobs. But his own household stands to collect millions of dollars in private real estate commissions. How can the people of Nevis trust Mark Brantley to negotiate an unbiased development agreement when his wife is directly tied to the project's financial payout? This isn't public service. It is a textbook ethical crisis. The Brantleys trade on our national assets while ordinary citizens sit in the dark. So don't come tell us about bringing on resources, because it's depending on the CBI. And my Straight Talk family, as I close, while the government piles on debt, our people are left fighting a desperate lack of sustainable jobs. Where are the thousands of construction contracts promised by the slow student Jeffrey Halley? Where are the agro-processing careers promised by Samuel Doggins? Where are the jobs that we're going to run out of, promised by Terrence Michael Joe? My Straight Talk family, St. Kitts and Nevis must stay far from destiny. The time for polite patience is over. We must reject the false choice that we must appear, that we must accept this chronic stagnation to maintain stability. We must refuse to let the incompetence of Prime Minister Terrence Michael Drew and the compliance of Premier Mark Brantley dictate the financial future of our children. We must no longer stand by while they exploit a constitution born of political expediency to pass the buck. We must not allow them to force the Destiny Project on the people of Nevis and by extension the people in St. Kitts. And don't let him fool you about Christopher Harbour and 2,400 acres. Christopher Harbour, Buddy Darby and Christopher Harbour promised to pump $17 billion in the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis in 20 years. They haven't even pumped $500 million. As a matter of fact, they still owe the National Bank and the government over $130 million. Come on. They promise us transformation. They promise us development, this Labour Party and Mark Brantley. They promise us a future. But look around you at the abandoned field, the abandoned projects, the unfinished CBI projects, and the broken promises. The reality of their leadership across both sides of the Narrows is clear, painful, and undeniable. 2 islands one federation, 0 results. And I must leave you with the quotation from my quotationist from across the narrows. The worst evils which mankind has ever had to endure were inflicted by bad government. The worst evils which mankind has ever had to endure were inflicted by bad government. How many of us can testify to that? That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I must thank all of you who called. There's some of you who sent emails. There are thousands of you who just listened or viewed. All of you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Live, and God's Spear. We will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk before we go into the holiday weekend. But just remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, my Straight Talk family, you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow, down on my knees. The Lord I kneel and pray.